So, while walking on the beach, you might look out for cool rocks, seashells, animals, and whatnot. Who knows? It's up to you. But in today's episode, on this beach, you might want to look out for severed feet. About 15 severed feet have washed up on the shores on a beach in British Columbia on Gabriel Island, according to Royal Canadian Mounted Police. But before we dive any further into today's video, hello, and welcome to the Murder House Radio Show. I am your host, X. On this show, we will be covering serial killers, mass shooters, disappearances, true crime, and the most deplorable things and people in history. All that good, dark stuff. The Murder House Radio Show will be a radio show / podcast. I'll be uploading videos every Friday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Once you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification and select all notifications if you are viewing on YouTube. And hit follow if you are listening on a podcasting platform. So sit down, get comfortable, grab some coffee or whatever your preferred beverage is, turn off the lights, and enjoy the show. About 15 severed feet have washed up on the shores of British Columbia in the past few years. The first foot washed ashore in 2007 of Jedediah Island. The foot was matched to a dead man, but the family did not want to release any further information, so at least it was connected to somebody. Less than 1 month later, another foot washed up on Gabriella Island, 96 kilometers from Vancouver. More feet did keep washing up. Some were matched to missing people, but the majority were unmatched. Another weird occurrence was that each foot was found in a shoe, like a running shoe. Not all of them were the same brand, size, or gender, but there is an explanation for this, put forward by a scientist. The feet were not severed. The feet likely belonged to suicide, drowning, or plane crash victims. It is common for the bodies to decompose and come apart at the joints, making it natural for the foot to come apart from the leg. However, if this was the case, you may be asking, why wouldn't other body parts wash up? It's because the rest of the body decomposes in the water, but the shoes keep the foot or feet preserved because of the plastic in the fabric. The soles of the shoe are able to keep the foot and shoe afloat, along with potential air pockets trapped in the toe of the shoe, for example. The last and most recent foot was found on May 6th. I'm not sure about the year because I couldn't find the year. But this foot was in a hiking boot, which differed from all the other feet. This man went missing 25 years before his foot was found, which belonged to a man who was out fishing before he vanished. You may also be asking, why are all these feet washing up in BC, British Columbia in particular? A researcher named Richard Thompson, who is an oceanographer with the Federal Institute of Ocean Sciences, said it connects to the currents. He said, there is a lot of recirculation in the region. We're working here with a semi-enclosed basin. Fraser River, False Creek, Barada, Intel, all those regions around there are somewhat semi-enclosed. The tidal currents and the winds keep things that are floating, recirculating in the system. A number of feet have also been found further south in Washington state, which shares a network of coastal waterways with British Columbia. But people aren't quick to accept this conventional theory. People also think it could be work of a serial killer or serial killers, which could make sense. Cut up a body or whatnot and just dump it in the water and it just washes up there if it's in that location or whatnot. It's definitely possible because the mob and whatnot, like, fucking put people in like cement shoes or whatnot, but the feet aren't in cement. But they dump the bodies in the ocean, which could definitely result in something like this. It's definitely interesting. So hopefully you never have to, but if you get rid of a body, take the shoes off. But yeah, that's it for this case. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's what the researchers said, or do you think it's something much more sinister? Let me know. I'm leaning towards right in the middle, I guess. But yeah. This one was relatively short, so I'll give you guys another one. Make the video longer. Enjoy a little more broadcasting. The second case is called the Glico Morinaga case. This case is known as the official designation Metropolitan Designated Case 114. This case was a famous extortion case in Japan. It took place from 1984 to 1985. This case remains unsolved. This case was directed at the Japanese industrial confectionaries Iziki, Glico, and Morinaga. The duration of this case spanned 17 months, from the kidnapping of the president of Glico to the last known communications from the prime suspects. A person or group only known as the Monsters with 21 Faces. At approximately 9 p.m. on March 18, 1984, two masked men armed with pistols and rifles forcefully entered the then home of the Izaki Glico president, Katashi Izaki. Their neighbor was Katashi's 70-year-old mother. The intruders broke in to her home first and demanded the keys to her son's home. After making their way in to Izaki's home, the intruders tied up his wife, 35-year-old Makiko, and his oldest daughter, Markiko, who was 8 years old. The intruders locked them in the washroom. Two other children, daughter Yakiko, who was 4 years old, and son Esturo, who was 11, were asleep in their rooms and were left unharmed. The men then located Izaki, who was taking a bath. They abducted him while he was still naked. The intruders took him to a small warehouse in Ibazaki, Osaka. Around midnight, the kidnappers directed a director of the company to a ransom note in a public phone booth demanding 1 billion yen, which is about 4.5 million US dollars. However, 3 days later, on the 21st of March, Izaki managed to escape from the warehouse. The kidnappers did send a letter to the Japanese police that was received on the 8th of April, 1985. The letter said, "To the police fools, are you all stupid? What the hell are you doing with all that manpower? If you professionals, then come on, catch us." We'll give you a hint since you're so handicapped. There are none of us among Ezekiel's relatives. There are none of us among Neoshami police. And there are none of us among Flood Preservation Corps. The car I bought was gray, and the food I bought was from Dai. If you want more information, ask us for it in the newspapers. After telling you all this, you should be able to catch us. If you can't, then you're just tax leeches. Shall we kidnap the head of prefectural police too? The extortion attempts against Glico did not end with the escape of Izaki. On the 10th of April, vehicles in the parking lot of Izaki Glico headquarters trial production building were set on fire. Then on the 16th of April, a plastic container containing hydrochloric acid and a threatening letter to Glico were found in Ibaraki. On May 10th, Glico began to receive letters from a person or group calling itself the Monster with 21 Faces, named after the villain of Edogawa Rappo's detective novel. The monsters claimed to have laced Glico candies with potassium cyanide soda. The Glico pulled its production off the shelves at a great expense, resulting in a loss of more than $21 million and laying off 450 part-time workers. The monsters with 21 faces threatened to place tampered products in stores. Following these threats, a man wearing a Yomiuri Giants baseball cap was caught placing Glico chocolate on a store shelf by a security camera. A security camera photo was made public after this incident. The kidnappers also sent numerous letters to the media that they were taunting the police who were trying to catch them. An excerpt from such a letter said, "Dear dumb police officers, don't tell a lie. All crimes begin with a lie, as we say in Japan. Don't you know that? This is a letter sent by Monsters with 21 Faces gang that was received on the 23rd of April, 1984. It was sent to both Sanaki and Mishani newspapers, as well as the Koshini police station. It read, "To police fools, you shouldn't lie. If you lie, you steal. I also sent this to the Kanoshi police. Why are you lying? Don't hide things. Why are you complaining? You guys have such a hard time, so I will give you a hint. I entered the factory from the side staff entrance. The typewriter we used is pan writer. The plastic container used was a piece of street garbage. Monster with 21 faces." Eventually, the monster stopped contacting Glico and on the 26th of June issued a letter saying, "We forgive Glico." However, the monster then turned its extortion campaign on Morinaga and the food companies Morinaga and House Foods Corporation. A threatening letter arrived at Tokyo home of Morinaga Dairy Vice President Motisho Yamada on the 1st of November 1984. The letter said, "To President, you saw our power, didn't you? If you disobey us, we will destroy your company. You will get killed. Decide whether you want to give us money or do you want to see your company destroyed. Tell us in Manchi newspaper on either the 5th or 6th of November. Use the missing persons. Use the words in the reply: Jiro, Morinaga, mother, police, bad friend, money, meal. As we said before, We want 200 million yen. Monster with 21 faces. On the 6th of November, Morinaga responded to the criminals by placing the missing persons advertisement in the Manchi newspaper morning edition. Dear Jory, bad friend disappeared. Come back. Warm meal is waiting. Mother, Chiyoko. 2 letters were sent to House Foods on the 7th of November 1984. Also, on November 7th, 1984, Morinaga and company whose food products had been poisoned by the criminal gang were forced to reduce its current production by 90%. However, the police did get close to a suspected mastermind of the monster with 21 faces. However, on the 28th of June, 2 days after agreeing to stop harassing Morinaga in exchange for 50 million yen, about 210,000 US dollars, the monster arranged for Morinaga employee to toss ransom money onto a local train heading towards Kyoto when a white flag was displayed. An investigator, disgusted as Morinaga employee in the following, dropped instructions of the monster spotted a suspicious man observing them when he was riding a train to the drop point. The man was described as a large, well-built man wearing sunglasses. His hair was cut short and permed, with eyes like those of a fox, hence the nickname, Fox-Eyed Man. When the white flag was not raised, the undercover policeman and the fox-eyed man both disembarked from the train at Kyoto Station, and while the investigators waited on the bench, the fox-eyed man continued to observe them. The investigators later headed back to Osaka, and the fox-eyed man boarded another car on the same train. When the investigators then disembarked at Takasami Station, the fox-eyed man boarded a Kyoto-bound train, and another undercover investigator tailed him from Kyoto, but the fox-eyed man eventually lost him. However, the police did get a second chance at the fox-eyed man on the 14th of November, when the monster group attempted to rob the House Food Corporation of 100 million yen, which is about 410,000 US dollars. This incident is called the Shiga Prefecture Incident. At a rest stop on the Michigan Expressway near Otus, investigators saw the fox-eyed man wearing a golf cap and dark glasses. But again, he evaded their capture. The cash delivery van they were tailing continued to head towards the drop point, where they were to drop the money in a can under a white piece of cloth. When the delivery van reached the drop point, a white cloth was there, but the can was missing. As a result of this, the investigative team was ordered to withdraw, believing the drop was an evaluation by the monster of police response. An hour earlier, a patrol car from the local Shiga Prefecture police had spotted a station wagon with its engine running and the headlights off. The station wagon was also sitting less than 50 meters from a white cloth suspended from a fence. Unaware of the secret ransom drop, the police officer drove up to the station wagon and shone his flashlight on the driver, revealing a thin-cheeked man in his 40s, wearing a golf cap over his eyes, and more telling, a wireless receiver with headphones. Surprised by the policeman, the driver sped off, with the police car following in pursuit until the station wagon lost them. The station wagon was later found abandoned near Kyusutsu Station. and had been discovered to have been stolen earlier in Negasako, in Koto Prefecture. Inside the abandoned vehicle was a radio transceiver that had been eavesdropping in on radio communications between the police officers of the 6 prefectures, including Osaka, Kyoto, and Kobe. The prefectures of the drop point. Also recovered was a vacuum cleaner, although no evidence could be traced back to the monster group. Following the blackmail campaign on the house foods, the monster then turned its sights on Fujiya in December 1984. In January 1985, police released the facial composite of the fox-eyed man to the public. In August 1985, after continuing harassment by the monster with 21 faces and the failure to capture the fox-eyed man, Shiga Prefecture Police Superintendent Yamanato killed himself by self-mutilation. Maybe Sekiguri, I believe it is, the ritual suicide. But that's intense. It's definitely an interesting case so far. What do you guys think? I do not believe this is the first time I've heard this case, but I think I've definitely heard it somewhere. It sounds very familiar. So I apologize if I've covered it before, but I don't think I have. But yeah, there has been one final message 5 days after the death of the police superintendent, Yamanoto. On the 12th of August, the Monsters with 21 Faces sent its last message to the media. Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture Police died. How stupid of him. We've got no friends or secret hiding place in Shiga. It's Yoshino or Shikata who should have died. What have they been doing for as long as 1 year and 5 months? Don't let bad guys like us get away with it. There are many more fools who want to copy us. No career, Yamamoto died like a man. So we decided to give our condolences. We decided to forget about torturing food market companies. If anyone blackmailing any of the food marketing companies, it's not us, but someone copying us. We are bad guys. That means we've got more to do other than bullying companies. It's fun to lead a bad man's life. Monster with 21 faces. Following this message, the monster with 21 faces was not heard from again. In March 1994, the statute of limitations ran out on the kidnapping of Azika, followed by the lapse of the statute of limitations on 2 remaining charges of attempted murder for the poisoning food products in October 1999. On Saturday, February 12th, 2000. So that's when the last statute of limitation ran out. So they're technically in the free and clear. It's definitely interesting. Following the release of Identitica in January 1985, the Tokyo Metropolitan Police quickly identified the culprit of Manabu Mizaki. Labeled as Mr. M, or Material Witness M, Mizaki was suspected of issuing a 1976 tape declaring support of local union in a labor dispute with Glico that bore similarities to numerous declarations of monster with 21 faces. So this guy is a potential suspect. There had been numerous whistleblowing incidents between 1975 and 1976 that were also attributed to Mizaki, which heightened Glico's dumping of stretches and other individual waste into local rivers and drainage systems. Mizaki was also suspected to have been involved with the resignation of a union leader over accounting irregularities when Glico Ham and Glico Natural Foods merged. In addition, his father was the boss of a local Yakuza group. Mizaki himself bore a striking resemblance to the Fox-eyed man. Speculation had gone on months that Mizaki was the fox-eyed man until the Tokyo Metropolitan Police checked his alibis and cleared him of any wrongdoing. The resulting notoriety caused Mizaki to become a social commentator, and he wrote a book about his experience called Top Amano. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police also suspected that various Yakuza groups had a hand in the Glico cases. The end of the blackmail campaign occurred around the time Yamaichi War, the mob war between the Yamaguchi Gumi and the Ichiwakai. So the blackmailing basically stopped when the war between those two groups started. In addition, Japanese National Public Safety Commission investigated extreme left-wing and right-wing groups as possible suspects, but there is still no actual culprits, so it still remains unsolved. It's definitely interesting. Sorry about my mispronunciations, as I do not speak Japanese or read Japanese. So I know a lot of you guys are probably cringing. So my bad. My apologies. So those are the cases of the mysterious severed feet and the Glico Morinaga cases. Thank you for listening to this episode on the Murder House Radio Show. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday or whenever you are listening to this. Check out the social medias and the sources in the description below. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Once you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification and select all notifications if you are listening on YouTube. If you are listening on a podcasting platform, hit follow. Leave your suggestions for future episodes in the comments. See you next episode. This is your host X, signing off.